What is up, nerds? In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to slay Zebak in the raid Tombs of Amascut on normal mode. Whether you're brand new to TOA or just looking for some pointers, this video and mini-series will get you running deathless raids and getting purples in no time. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get all my future videos and guides, as well as my future videos on this TOA series where I will be going over each boss individually and showing you how I like to kill them, as well as any tips and tricks I have for them to make learning them or just fighting them in general as easy as possible. My goal is to reach 500 subs by June when my baby is due to be born, so hit that sub button and enjoy the video. As far as plugins go, all you will really need is the Tombs of Amascut plugin that you could get in the plugin hub. With this plugin, you can fully customize everything how you would like it to be. This is just a setup I like to use. Feel free to go ahead and copy what I have or go through everything on your own and see what you think you'd like to have on or not. As far as gear goes, setups range widely, but this is what I'm using here. I got a crystal helm, a Rada's blessing, dragon defender, light bearer, of course you could substitute with a berserker ring or something like that, eternal boots, barrels gloves, crystal top and bottom. I have a fang and a Ava's assembler and necklace of anguish. As far as our other switches, we have the face guard, bandos top and bottom, bofa for our range weapon, fire cape, torture, ferocious gloves, and prim boots. And then for mage, we have the ward, the Zami cape, occult necklace, the trident of the swamp, the tormented bracelet, as well as Aram's top and bottom. Then we're going to pre-eat an angler and range pot, and then we're going to have 3 Sarahs, 4 super restores, a Sanfu serum for poison resistance, as well as some prayer restoration and a divine super combat. You can obviously just use a regular super combat for that. And before we go in, we'll have our quick prayers set to protect from missiles and piety. This won't be used really for Zebak, but that will be for the next video when we get into Kefri. But as far as your setup goes, like honestly, there are many different setups you can use, but for someone new or still learning, I would try and prioritize less switching and more Sarahs / restores. Things like Full Void, Amulet of Fury, and its versatile stats are also great options to consider when trying to cut down on switches. For weapons, if you don't have a Fang, you can use a Zami Hasta. You irons out there, I have a great guide on Zami to go and get your Zami Hasta, and I will link the videos in the description for you to check it out. Karis Partisan, preferably with yellow gem enhancement, is also a good option as well at lower invos. For magic, the Trident of the Swamp or Sea should hopefully be attainable, but if not, you could maybe use something like the Warp Scepter, but I wouldn't recommend it. For range, I highly suggest getting full crystal with a bofa. Now I know it's easier said than done, right? But learning CG is a great practice for raids and bossing in general, and also it uses no supplies to do it, so I have a great video on that as well, and I will be linking that in the description for you to check out if you're interested in trying that out as well. But if you don't want to get it yourself or buy it all, then a rune or dragon crossbow with some ruby bolts and diamond bolts will be suffice. If you're not bringing a bofa, it's highly recommended to bring a blowpipe with you as well for later on the raid when you fight Baba. Though it may be possible to one-shot boulders with the crossbow and bolts depending on your levels and setup, but having a blowpipe with you will ensure that you will be able to kill the boulders before they hit you later on in the raid. And as you can see here in our invos, we're going to be running a 150, which is going to be considered normal mode. And as you can see here, for rewards, we can pretty much get everything other than the curse failings and the 2 ornament kits. But we are able to get the things like, you know, the thread, the 3 gems, Lightbearer, Fang, the ward, Shadow, all the Missouri, and the pet. So, you know, and you might get lucky and be able to get a shadow and a 150, you never know. But we're going to be running with a hardcore, which means if we die once, the raid is over. But honestly, we'll be okay. It's pretty easy, you'll see. On a diet, which means we just can't use food, but we can still use Sarah's. Potions are exempt. Lively larvae on Kefri be double number of the eggs. That doesn't really matter. We'll be using protect for range, most of that anyways. Blowing mud also doesn't really matter. It's kind of a free invocation. As far as Zebak goes, we're going to have not just a head, which will allow him to cast Blood Barrage and summon Blood Clouds. It's honestly pretty much free invocation. The arterial spray, which is pretty easy, and the blood thinners, which just takes the blood blobs that he spawns and turns them into 3. And then we have for Baba, gotta have faith, jungle japes, and shaking things up, all of which are just free invocations, especially on solo. Akka, we won't have anything on Akka. And for wardens, we're gonna actually have acceleration off. But I highly recommend that you learn that being on, because that will be used throughout your entire TOA career, so it really actually doesn't make it that much harder. I highly recommend just learning to have it on, but in this one case, we're just going to have it off just to show you, in case if you are brand new, just to see what it looks like. And we're going to have everything else on except insanity, because, well, that would be insane if you're watching this video but can do insanity. But anyways, let's get into the raid. So we are going to need to eat an angler and take a sip of the range pot, take out an extra Sarah brew, and we're going to head on in. Now, once we are inside, we are going to go over to Path of Krondis, which is going to be Zebak, and we'll have to do a challenge before we can fight him. As we enter the challenge room, we're going to run over here and pick up the water container. And then we're going to run over here to where I have these blue tiles marked. And we're going to click on the water source. And when there's a poison pool coming at you, just dodge to the opposite box and you'll be able to dodge that. And if you're able to do it this way, you can actually get the combat achievement for this room. But you have to run to another pool source because they take a while to respawn when you do it solo. And here we could run right straight through, and then if you are already running before another one drops down, you will be able to beat it out. And then, yep, see, if we didn't already have that combat achievement, we would have just gotten it right there. But before we fight Zebak, we're just going to go over a few things in his mechanics. Zebak is probably the easiest of the bosses in the raid, in my opinion. His attacks are straightforward and easy to avoid. His defense isn't all that high, especially with the invos being used, and there isn't much gear switching. At all, actually. There is only some prayer switching involved. If you play it right and have around 90 prayer, you should be able to go through the whole fight without even having to use a single dose of Super Restore. Zebak has 2 standard attacks, a ball that is fully negated with Protect from Magic on, and a boulder that is fully negated with Protect from Range on. One of his special attacks is where he throws out these rocks and jugs with some poison on the ground. What you have to do is push a jug near one of the boulders and attack it so it gets rid of the poison around the boulders. You have to stand behind them as he will let out these giant shockwaves that will deal massive damage if you don't stand behind a boulder, so you have to make sure you stand behind them, and you're allowed 3 squares behind each boulder, so you don't have to be directly behind it, just enough to be in safety. After the shockwaves are done, you can run and continue attacking. Now, he has another special attack where he does the same thing, but he just does more poison on the ground and no boulders, and now these giant waves come at you. All you have to do is simply go in between the spots of the waves that are clear, and you will have them go right past you. You can continue attacking while you wait for them to get some extra DPS. And boom, simple as that. And lastly, since we have this info on, I figured I'd show it. These are the little blood orbs that he spawns. Simply, all you have to do, if they spawn on the right side, if you stand all the way in the left, by the time they reach you, they will die. So as long as you're standing on the far left side, you will be good. And then if you gotta move a little bit for waves or something, you'll be fine as well. But let's get into a live kill. So we're going to enter via this crystal here, and we're just going to start and run to the far left corner over here. Turn on our Deadeye, which I highly recommend you go get if you haven't yet. I do have a Royal Titan solo guide. You can see that in the description. But anyways, we just skip between range and mage when necessary, and we wait for him to do a special attack. Here we go. Spit out the boulders. So we're gonna go push this jug diagonally and attack it right away, so it blows up, and now we have a space to stand on behind the boulder. And we're gonna wait for his shockwave attack to come out while still paying attention to his standard attacks. Boom, here comes the shockwaves. Now we're good to go. We're going to just run back to where we were kind of standing before on the left side. And just stand here, continue to attack. This is why having a bow is really nice too. Fast attack speed. But here we come. Now we get these blood orbs and waves coming, so you got to be a little cautious here. But like I said, if you stand on the far left side, by the time the blood orbs come to you, they will despawn and die. So as long as you're on that left side or right side, wherever they spawn, and the waves are coming or whatever, you'll be fine. But anyways, we just continue to attack. And we have another boulder one. We're going to run over here. I'll show you guys also too what happens if you do run into poison like that. You will get hit, as well as if you're not paying attention to prayers like I was right there. And we just made it behind that boulder. We got a little lucky there. But yeah, the poison doesn't do too much damage. I wouldn't worry about it. If you do get poisoned, unless if you're very, very low in health. But we're just going to continue attacking here. He's going to do another wave sequence. And notice his health as he gets to about 25%. He's going to go into an enraged form where he's going to stop doing any wave attacks or anything like that. He's just going to do standard attacks, the blood barrage attack, and maybe the blood orb attack too. But he just attacks way faster, like as you can see. Still fairly easy to dodge, but just way faster than normal. But as you can see, it's still very easy to dodge. And he doesn't do any other special attacks, which is nice during that phase. But we got him down, and that's it, boys. That's Zebak down. No problems whatsoever. And I know you can do it too. Well, nerds, that's all I got for you today. If you'd like this video, please hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get all of my future videos and guides. Stay tuned for all my other TOA videos coming out in the near future as well. There's plenty of them coming. But until next time, nerds, peace.